Hi guys, I'm here to show you how to rig up the GUNSAILS Vector. So first of all, thank you for buying a Vector. It's a wonderful product, really easy to ride, pretty fast. I actually enjoy sailing the sail myself. So we're going to start by undoing the toggle that's on the sail and unrolling the sail. The best way to unroll the sail is to always have the foot of the sail facing the wind, so that when you unroll it, the wind actually helps you to unroll the sail all the way to the end, which makes it easier to insert the mast into the sail. Second thing, we got a mast. We always highly recommend that you rig a GUNSAILS sail on a GUNSAILS mast. The curve of the mast and the curve of the sail are matched together for the optimum performance. So when you're rigging a GUNSAILS sail and you want to get the best performance out of it, please make sure to use a GUNSAILS mast. At GUNSAILS we have different carbon percentages like the Cross, the Expert or the Select, which are different performance levels and different budgets, so there's always something to fit your needs. For the mast, we're going to put the mast together. One thing that we're going to make sure is that the mast is all the way together, so make sure it really fits. Also, the least amount of sand we have in the mast, the better, so make sure it's clean. So if you need to clean it, just simply put your hand around it, clean it off, put it together without any sand. It will ensure that once you're done with your session, you can actually take this mast apart again. The sleeve is actually sewn to the body to pull some of the downhole tension into the sleeve. So to get the mast in easily, we actually bring it forward to the front edge of the sleeve. As soon as it's in, we angle it, but we make sure that it goes over the sail body. So angle it in and then make sure it goes over the sail body, meaning that the mast is actually traveling between the upper part of the sleeve and the body of the sail. Then we keep the mast towards the sail body side of the sail and we push it in. As soon as we start to get some friction, I know there's a nice handle right here, but this handle is not meant to just simply push the mast in. So right now I feel like, okay, it's getting some friction. If we keep pushing, we could possibly damage the sail right there. We don't want to do that. So we're going to walk up. With one hand we're going to grab the mast inside the boom opening. With the other hand we're going to reach up as far as we can. Push it in. Then to keep the sail nice, we're going to take some of the slack out, and then we're going to do that one second time. This second time is going to be a nice jerk to make sure that the mast engages into the head cap. So bam, just like that. To be sure that the mast is in the head cap, we can quickly check with our finger in here and feel that it's in. The new top construction on the GUNSAILS sails is excellent. I have not had this new construction not engaged directly, but it's always good to check, because once you put the downhole, you could damage the head cap, or the mast could simply pop out and you could damage the sail. So make sure that it's in the mast is properly into the head cap of the sail. At the bottom of your sail there's a print that shows how long you need to set the extension. For this Vector 7/8 we need to set it on 60 or in 15. Then put the extension into the mast and we're going to start the rigging process. So pull the sail down just slightly, fold over the tack fairing to expose the pulleys, and then we're going to feed the rope into those pulleys. I've got a special trick that I have for the GUNSAILS extension that's actually feeding the rope first around the first pulley, and then we have a really nice sequencing, because we can go outside inside, inside outside, outside inside, inside outside, and we have absolutely no crosses to the rope, which actually reduces the friction of the downhole and makes rigging of the sail easier. Now we're going to put the downhole to about 10 centimeters or 8 centimeters from the setting that is printed on the sail, and we're going to pop the cams onto the mast. So you hold one hand as close as possible to the camber, and the other hand goes onto the camber, and we simply push the camber forward and up to engage onto the mast. Just like that. We do the same with the camber below, so now you do the other hand as close as possible to the camber. Take your left hand, push down and up. So you push away from the mast and up onto the mast. It's really quite easy. Then we have the foot camber. So we put the extension on the hip, we kind of bend our leg a little bit, like that. Then inside the sleeve here, there's a print of a hand. You put your hand on top of the print, and you simply snap the camber into place just like that. Super easy. Now we're ready to put full downhole onto the sail because all the cambers are on. Simply going to sit down, put a knot, and put the downhole. Once the downhole's on, we're going to put the boom. Same thing for the boom. The settings are printed on the bottom of the sail. Set the boom to the recommended length first. Set the length of the boom before you put the boom onto the sail. And then off we go. Tighten the boom, close your zippers, all of them. And then we go to the back of the sail and we put the out hole. The reason why I said to adjust the length of the boom before rigging up is because now this one is really easy to open, but this one below maybe not so easy. So now we're setting it to the length. On the Vector, there's pretty much no space required, so actually I'm still one too long. We go one more smaller because there's pretty much no out hole tension on the Vector for the best to get the best performance out of the sail. Also for the Vector, especially the bigger sizes, we highly recommend that you use a boom which has a slightly wider tail because the profile of the sail, as you can see, it's quite deep. So we really need to use a boom that accommodates the profile of the sail. So for example, this Select with the square tail is actually a perfect boom for the Vector. So as you can see, I'm barely putting any tension on the back. And we are done rigging the sail. There's the last few steps that I want to go through with you. One of them is tying off the rope on the back of the boom. This makes sure that there's a cleat. All the loading is going to go onto the cleat. May the cleat fail, having a couple knots here will make sure that the sail doesn't lose the out hole tension. Then we have the same at the foot. We have the tack, how do you call it, the tack webbing, which actually goes around here. For me, some people like to put tension on this, some people like to put more, some people like to put less. I like to simply put it on 90 degrees, tighten it, and that's all you need. You can crank it much more, but it's going to affect the shape of the sail. We don't want to do that. We just want to put a little bit of tension into the foot right here to get some stability in this little foot part and to make sure that this has a little bit of tension in it. Actually, before we do that, we should take this rope. You can either put one, I like to put one knot so that it doesn't come out of the cleat. Then we simply roll it up and we put it into the little mesh pocket that's on the inside of the fairing. So you don't have to put knot after knot after knot, you just simply put it in. So as the tack fairing is folded, you put it in facing up, but as you fold it down, the gravity will actually keep it in that pocket, so you don't need to do anything else. So before we fold it down, put that thing on, put some tension, close this, put the Velcro on, and we are good to go. So for the de-rigging, there's a few little points that I want to point out. It's just for you to have the most fun with your gun sails and make sure that you don't damage anything during the de-rigging process, so that your sail will last as long as possible. So for taking off the boom, it's relatively simple. It's just taking off the boom. It's the opposite of putting it on. Open these zippers. It gives you plenty of space to get this rope off. Take the boom off, bam. And then we come to some more important parts. So for the downhole, we are going to take the downhole off. The first thing you're going to do is take this webbing off the extension. If you leave this one on and you release the downhole, this attachment point is not made to carry the load of the downhole, so you could tear this off. So you want to make sure that this one doesn't get caught on the extension while you're releasing the downhole. Second thing is, when we release the downhole, we do not want the sail to go back down to the floor. So if we're releasing the downhole, let's say we take the rope out of the cleat to release the tension, just like that. We release it slowly, but we keep the sail up like this at waist height. If we drop it down, these battens, they can curve freely right now. If I put it on the ground will push on this and it could actually break your battens in the front here. Gun sails are pretty strong battens, so I'm not saying they will break, but to make sure that your sail, or you get the most life and the most fun of your sail, just keep it at the waist height and release it, and those cambers will just simply pop off. Bam, just like that. And then you can just take the whole downhole off, take the extension out, and then removing the mast. There's a fun trick to remove the mast. Sometimes when you take the mast out, the top stays in, or some people wrinkle the sail. If you simply slide this up a little bit and you push the mast down with this hand and you pull it up with this hand and you rotate it, you can actually take the mast out completely without wrinkling the sail. Bam, just like that. Mast stuck together, even though the mast is really loose, you see? Really easy. Small tricks that make sailing just a little bit more fun. So, with your carbon mast, it doesn't matter if you have a cross, an expert or a select, make sure you put it in the silver bags. These masts don't like point loading, they don't like to be banged around, they like to be treated with respect. So take good care of your mast, same for your carbon boom, same for your sail. Don't roll a bunch of sand into your sail, it will scratch your monofilm. Make sure your sail is dry when you store it for a longer period of time so it doesn't get stinky or moldy. Just, take good care of your stuff and it will last you a long time.